The Arab-Israeli War. The Arab-Israeli War began immediately after Israel declared its independence on May 14, 1948. The neighboring Arab nations, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon, launched military attacks against Israel. The war took place primarily in the territory of the former British Mandate of Palestine, including modern-day Israel and its surrounding areas. For Israelis, this conflict is known as the War of Independence, and for the Palestinians, it's known as the Nakba, meaning catastrophe. After months of fighting, Israel not only survived but expanded beyond the original United Nations partition border. The war ended in 1949 with the Armistice Agreement, but it left hundreds of thousands of Palestinians displaced and set the stage for future conflicts. The Suez Crisis. The Suez Crisis took place in 1956 and involved Israel, the United Kingdom, and France against Egypt. The conflict began after the Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser nationalized the Suez Canal. Israel launched an invasion of the Sinai Peninsula while Britain and France intervened under the pretext of securing the canal. Militarily, Israel achieved rapid success, capturing the Sinai Peninsula. However, strong international pressure, particularly from the United States and the Soviet Union, forced a withdrawal. The Six-Day War. The Six-Day War occurred in June 1967 between Israel and a coalition of Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. The war was fought primarily in the Sinai Peninsula, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem and Golan Heights. In just 3 days, Israel launched preemptive airstrikes, rapidly defeated its opponents. By the end of the war, Israel has captured Sinai Peninsula, Gaza Strip, West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Golan Heights. The Yom Kippur War. The Yom Kippur War began on October 6, 1973, when Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel during the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. The fighting occurred mainly in the Sinai Peninsula and Golan Heights, aiming to recapture the territories lost during the Six-Day War. Initially, the Arab forces made significant gains. However, Israel regrouped and eventually pushed back the attackers. The war ended after several weeks through a ceasefire brokered by the United States and the Soviet Union. The Lebanon War. The Lebanon War began in 1982 when Israel invaded the southern Lebanon. The stated goal was to push the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, away from Israel's northern border. The Israeli forces advanced as far as Beirut, the capital of Lebanon. The conflict became prolonged and complex. The war reshaped Lebanon's political landscape and marked the beginning of a long-term tension between Israel and Hezbollah. The Second Lebanon War. The Second Lebanon War took place in 2006 between Israel and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. The conflict began after Hezbollah captured Israeli soldiers in a cross-border raid. Israel launched airstrikes and a ground invasion into southern Lebanon. The war lasted about 34 days and resulted in heavy casualties and infrastructure damage on both sides. A UN-brokered ceasefire ended the fighting. The tensions continued between Israel and Hezbollah. The Gaza Wars. The Gaza Wars refers to the repeated cycles of conflict between Israel and Hamas, the Islamist political group that controls Gaza Strip. Major escalations have occurred since 2008. It has continued to 2012, 14, 21, and a large-scale conflict beginning in October 2023. These wars generally flare up after rockets fire from Gaza into Israeli territory. The root of this conflict are tied to the long-standing political, territorial, and security disputes between Israel and Palestinian groups in Gaza. The Israel-Iran War. Since February 28, 2026, Israel has been involved in an escalating conflict with Islamic Republic of Iran after launching coordinated strikes against the Iranian military infrastructure in response to a long-standing tension over Iran's nuclear program, missile capabilities, and support to armed groups opposed to Israel. The situation remains ongoing, with Iranian ballistic missiles and drones fired towards Israeli territory and vice versa.